Alright everyone, we've reached Friday in what must surely be the longest week in living memory. I say we've reached Friday, it is usually Friday evening that we stick these kind of videos out. We're going a bit earlier this week, just because I assume, like me, you're climbing the walls at this stage, waiting for kick-off on Sunday. If we stick this out Friday lunchtime, that can fill 10 minutes of your void, and then tomorrow we can do likewise and give you over a day to watch our big preview video that will be out tomorrow at noon. I've been writing in 67 Hail Hail over the last couple of days, and it's been like relatively quiet, kind of. I mean, there's still a few really interesting things that have happened, but generally in terms of news, certainly coming out of Celtic, it's only really been Ange Postecoglou. We haven't really had many training videos or certainly any posted on social media. We haven't had the usual stuff we maybe get from the club throughout the week. It very much feels to me like the camp is incredibly focused, and it does very much feel like the calm before the storm. That's the only way I can really describe it. But there are still some interesting things to chat about, so let's do it. So yeah, we are now like 2 days away from the big one. Sunday, 3 p.m, 2 informed teams going at it. Tens of thousands of fans going to be in attendance as well. A huge match. But enough about France v Scotland in the Six Nations. Celtic are also in action. These are getting worse and worse, aren't they? I don't even really like rugby. I just wanted to throw that in. Celtic are obviously all that matters this weekend. How are we all feeling? Because I tend to kind of ask that in derby weeks. Just from maybe speaking to people in real life, and also kind of on like forums and stuff like that, engaging the mood amongst the Celtic support. Seems to me that it's kind of split. I'd say maybe over half of the Celtic support feel very confident that Sunday's going to go our way, and maybe just under half are a bit more apprehensive, maybe even a little bit worried about events. And yeah, I mean, I totally get that. I don't personally feel too much that way. I guess the most recent derby at Ibrox is probably playing in people's minds, maybe even more so the one we lost back in April of last year in the Scottish Cup semi-final. That's probably the one that's really given people the heebie-jeebies, so to speak. And maybe just generally our Hampden performances, not our Hampden record, because I think it's like we've still only lost maybe one out of our last like 18 or something like that at Hampden. But I think maybe certainly under Ange, we haven't had a blowaway performance at Hampden Park until this weekend, of course. I totally get where people are coming from. I just personally would have and do have a lot of faith in a team who have won 29 out of 31 domestic matches so far this season. Almost always when this Celtic team is set a big challenge, they come out the other end having succeeded. So hopefully the same happens this weekend. But let us know in the comments how you're feeling ahead of the game. One thing is for sure, Ange Postecoglou is going to have the team motivated. I mean, I think his pre-match team talk could be one for the ages on Sunday. Certainly looking back at the one he gave in last season's League Cup final against Hibernian, that was like pretty epic, and Celtic filmed that at the time and then released it as part of the end of season DVD that they did. So maybe if things go well on Sunday, we'll get to see the speech that Ange is going to give in like 4 or 5 months' time, in fact less than that. But I think it's going to be an absolute cracker. He has certainly been firing them away in the media, and I just want to chat a little bit about the noises coming out of Celtic specifically, and really solely Ange at the moment, and compare it to what we've been reading and hearing from across the city. Since we last spoke, we have had the pre-match press conference with the two managers that might as well have been done like 2 months ago. I don't know why they did it on the Tuesday ahead of a Sunday game. It just felt like pretty distant from the match, to be honest, and it was kind of bizarre. We had the obvious image there of Ange and his biggest fan and a huge Celtic supporter, Michael Beale, coming along for the ride there and sitting next to Ange as he gave his big boy press conference. I know they didn't actually sit next to each other during the press conference. I believe it was just a kind of photo opportunity. How awkward would that have been if Ange had been talking or Beale had been talking and the other one's just sitting there? I wonder if Beale would have toned down his comments at all. I kind of get the impression he might have, because he's obviously scared of Ange. But yeah, we had that, and Ange was pretty philosophical, I would say, in that press conference. Probably comes from the fact that we don't really have any real injury worries. He did speak in I think it was either in that press conference or in the Celtic TV interview, and just gave an update on Aaron Moy and David Turnbull, who had missed the game against Aberdeen last week, saying both would be back in training, he hoped, in the middle of the week, and they were indeed back in training on Wednesday. So hopefully those two are going to be fully fit for Sunday. But other than that, it was kind of really philosophical answers from Ange, and it was kind of similar in the Celtic TV interview as well. He seems to very much be in that mood, which again just leads me to believe that the pre-match Sunday team talk could be one for the ages. Another interview that he did on the same day, but that was kind of released, or certainly a wee snippet was released yesterday, it was one with the match broadcasters Viaplay Sports. Now, I assume this interview is going to feature as part of their pre-match coverage on Sunday. And by the way, while we're on Viaplay, that's the team that we're looking at there, with Sutton, Hearts and Strachan on the green side, and some other people involved there. But yeah, they should hopefully feature the interview in full as part of their pre-match coverage. I just want to read you a wee bit of the stuff that was released yesterday, because I just think this is magic from Ange. So he says, "As much as I'm the manager of this football club and I'm really passionate about it, I'm not invested in the same way our supporters are. I can't be, because they've got generations. It would be insulting of me to say that it means the same to me as them, but I bear the burden of that responsibility. I know what it means to our people that in these big games we are successful. The players understand that, they embrace that responsibility too. When there is so much at stake in terms of the potential repercussions of a result either way, I think that's brought into the game." The thing I love about Ange in these kind of weeks is he doesn't try and play the match down as if it's just another match. He wants to embrace all of the stuff that goes along with this fixture, whether it's the rivalry, just a traditional cup final stuff, the fact that the players are going to be far busier this week with ticket requests and family members just looking out for them, given that it's such a big game, and he embraces it all. And I just think that's a much more open way to deal with it, because players are going to be thinking, oh, this is a major game anyway, so why, like some managers, would you try and kind of play it down and say, oh, just another game? But then to the same extent, Celtic will probably prepare similarly or maybe identically for this game as they would have last week against Aberdeen, because we try and bring our A game to every single match. Every match is an opportunity to play your best game yet, Ange says, and hopefully on Sunday we can do that. It's amazing his knack of saying the right thing and what fans want to hear at the exact right time. He understands the magnitude of the game, and so do the players. That's what Celtic fans want to hear at this point. It really fills me with a lot of confidence. So I thought that was magic, and I'm sure there's more to come from Ange in the lead up to the match, and hopefully afterwards as well. And I do think it's interesting to compare the noises that we've had coming out of Celtic to what we've had from our rivals over the last wee period. Celtic are incredibly focused. We are all that we can control, so that's all we're going to bother ourselves with. And that's obviously the way Ange thinks about things, and so that's the way that Celtic think about things, and any players that are interviewed say the right things as well. I mean, in our whole spell under Ange so far, 18 months or so, there's only really one time I can remember a player who maybe deviated from that slightly, and that was Giakoumakis when he said the whole whatever he said, you know, we're the best team in the country. And to be fair, he was proven right, and we've been getting a lot of that from Rangers recently without them actually really doing much to prove they're the best team in the country. We had, obviously, Michael Beale recently, Ange is lucky, etc. Chris Sutton wasn't very good at football, etc. We even had Fashion Sakala calling us the other mob the other day. And while that is hardly crime of the century, and to be honest, I think it's probably more cause for laughter than greeting, and a pretty harmless comment as well, it does just strike to me as him playing up to the Rangers fans in the gallery. He also claimed in a kind of another interview, I think that's gone out late last night, that Rangers are so much better than us. Oh, sorry, don't know what happened there. And it's just interesting to note the difference in class between Ange and Callum McGregor and the likes of Michael Beale and Fashion Sakala. Now, I know class doesn't win you matches, and I would happily have two people being completely disrespectful in the media if it meant that we won on Sunday. But I just think at this stage, there is a real difference in the way the two clubs are carrying themselves out in the media, and it's not as if they're the team that are 9 points clear in the league either, so it's a bit bizarre, but yes, on we go to the weekend. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a taster today, a bit of a shoot video, if you will, on the differences between Celtic and Rangers, because there are a few. Tomorrow we will have our big derby preview dropping on the channel at noon, just to give you plenty of time to get up for the game, and by that stage we'll be like a day closer to kick-off. So yeah, we're getting there, everyone. Chat to you then.